Hello, good morning everyone. How are you all doing? It's Thursday, but it really feels like Friday, doesn't it? Or maybe that's just me. It's been a long week. This morning, I've got Niamh on with me, who I think quite a few of you will have seen. She's quite active in the group, and she's an OG, so she's like really knows the stuff, obviously, when it comes to quantum flame healing. And she has got, I'm sorry about my hair, by the way. I thought I looked really good, you know, and you like think you look good, and then you're like, oh, actually. Anyway, yeah, she's got some amazing, hi, she's here. She's got some amazing things to share with us. And hi, how do I invite you on? Okay, oh my gosh, why does this happen all the time? So I can bring Steph on and I can't bring Niamh on. Is it because I tag you in the main thing? I wonder if it's because I tag you. And so then you can't. Oh, here we go, here we go. This is not your first rodeo, is it? Oh my gosh, they can't join. Why? Yes, add. Okay, I'm adding you now. Send invitation. Please work. I was listening to some R&B this morning, so I've got like loads of R&B songs in my head. I need to chill out. Yay!
Hello, lovely.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. I was thinking it's going to be another one of those ones where I'm like, shall I turn it off and on again?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, you managing this brilliantly.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a bit panicky. I'm like, in the beginning, everyone was coming on fine, and then now it seems to be only the person who's my guest can't get on.
Ooh. Ooh. You need to have a look at that.
Yeah.
What's the meaning?
That is interesting, isn't it? I love speaking to Niamh because she can always pick up on things, can't you? I feel like you really actively listen, so you pick up on things that people are saying that other people may not pick up on.
Yeah, I have to say, and I'm really glad you said that actually, because it's made me appreciate something like growth-wise, because I've always been rubbish at general knowledge quizzes. I don't absorb knowledge. If you'd ask me anything about soap operas or anything like that, then I'd be like, oh yeah, I know it all. But anything to do with current affairs or history, I think I'm like, it's so funny because my dad is a complete history sponge and buff.
Oh.
And bless him, he'll tell me stuff and I'm like, you know that's going to be gone in 10 seconds. I'm like, I welcome it and I thank you for it, but it's already gone.
Yeah.
It's
but
like,
if it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend, then
yeah, it's like you're speaking a different language and it just passes through. It doesn't stay. So yeah, but like all things, say quantum or spiritual, whatever, I'm like absorbed, can't get enough of. So, and one of those things was I had learned active listening in counselling, but it's a whole different ball game when you actively listen spiritually.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about working with Steph, because Steph hasn't had counselling training, and yet the clarity with which she sees things blows my mind, and her ability to actively listen. So I sometimes think we get caught up with what we need to be trained in, because we've been conditioned to believe that when you hold a degree or a master's or a PhD, that's your leveling up and that's your value. But actually, that's not what I'm finding.
Yeah, it's so interesting you said that, and so interesting that you mentioned Steph as well, because I haven't spoken to her for ages, and then I saw her pop up this morning, so I sent her a voice note, and then we've been chatting this morning, and I said to her how so I was talking to her about how it's amazing that there was the first person that's been accredited in the quantum coaching. Yes. And I was like, I feel like I'm doing quantum coaching though, because I've done this course, I've created this course, and then I'm delivering it. And and it's like, I feel like I can't call myself a quantum coach or anything because I haven't done the training, but actually sometimes you're just delivering something by doing something naturally as it occurs to you.
Because who came up with the first training?
Exactly.
Do you know?
God.
No? So I'm kind of I would, yeah, it's a hard one, because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to dismiss this qualification that I'm getting.
Yeah.
However, I totally hear what you're saying. And I suppose for me, I like a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
And nurturing. And so for me, it's appropriate to do that.
Yeah.
For you, it's not needed.
Yeah. But I feel like I do. I feel like I'm like blind leading the blind when I'm on my own. But yeah, that just kind of evolved out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think it's because that's what I needed.
Yeah.
So I developed it.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. What do you mean you're speaking to my Steffi?
Yeah, no, sorry about that. She's watching as well, I think. I saw her pop up.
No, I love, yeah, she said she was going to. No, I love our sisterhood. It's absolutely fabulous. And I was really excited to come on and speak to you. And I was like, oh no, she's asking for specifics, and I've been watching the others and they've been amazing. And what can I add? What can I, you know, and kind of the scientific part of me and kind of the conventional medicine part of me was coming in going, where's my hard evidence for what I might talk about? Yeah. And then yesterday I was getting a haircut, and the hairdresser was knows what I do and was asking about it, and says they're open, but is very hardline following conventional.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put this out here for people to hear. I am going to give a warning that what I might speak about might be triggering for people today. Okay. It might be, and that's not my intention. My intention is to speak my truth, my experience, to bring light where there can be darkness and hopelessness and powerlessness. Why do I do it? Because I've been there. Yeah. Because a lot of what I speak to and of is from my own personal and lived through and professional experience. So having been a diagnostic radiographer for 23 years prior, there's a reason why I left that. Yeah. I couldn't buy into it anymore. There wasn't the evidence. I could see, I was kind of like, it's too like this. I believe and so I was very slowly opening, you know, there was resistance and confusion, and how can this be? We're being told one thing, therefore it must be. And then, just watching various patients. So what I'm going to be speaking about today is about health, particularly cancer really, and I suppose maybe illnesses that of unknown source, like autoimmune or chronic pain, or where the medics know of its existence and its symptoms, but haven't been able to get to the root cause. So it's in my throat now. So
I want to just ask you a quick question, if you don't mind me just butting in. So when you were doing the radiography things, and you were like, obviously, like, it's a serious medical profession and you've got all of this evidence base and it's medical evidence base, what was it like? What were you seeing when you started to not really believe in it? What was like were there discrepancies, or was it just like a box where everybody had to fit into one box?
Again, I can feel it in so many elements of things not adding up. So from my own lived experience, my mother had cancer for 26 years. So
a long time to have cancer. Apparently we all have cancer, and but our bodies know how to. I was watching, it's so funny that we're doing this today, because yesterday, you know, when things just pop up, this doctor was talking about how we all have cancer, because when the cells regenerate, sometimes they don't regenerate perfectly, and then it's cancerous, but our bodies are so good at clearing it out. So we all have cancer, but we clear it out all the time.
Yeah, and so for me, and what I was saying to the hairdresser yesterday, and we were kind of getting to a little bit of like, because she found it really quite difficult to hear, because there's a lot of ingrained language. So this whole idea of fighting cancer, so there's a lot of language language around it. The battle, the fight to live, the fight against it.
I survived cancer.
Yeah. People chasing a cure for it, whereas I'm like, I had been contributing while my mum was ill regularly to cancer charities, research charities, and then I stopped. I was like, that's not the way to go at all. I feel that because my mum kept getting tumours, and as I was getting older and in the profession I was in, I was like, these are relating to emotions and stressful events. Not all of them bad stress, some happy stress, but they were all linked to, and what I've been shown very recently is that it was all linked to grief.
Wow.
So which would make total sense.
So would she have a tumour and then she'd go through like the regular cancer treatment and then she'd get another tumour?
Yeah, so just surgeries for her.
Right.
So just kept whipping them out and they kept coming.
Wow.
So I was thinking, okay, what's the deal with that? And I couldn't speak my truth because it would be quite triggering for my family. Yeah. Like, is anyone else noticing this pattern? And I think a big step for me was when my second son was born, who's very energetically in tune and sensitive. Both my boys are, but he wouldn't settle. He was a newborn. He wouldn't settle in my mum's arms. And she had said, we had an argument, and I said, oh, I thought we'd resolved that, but maybe we haven't. Like, he's just not settling. And she said, no, I think he knows the secret I'm holding, that I have another tumour. What? And I haven't been to the doctor yet. And then after that,
so how does she know
just fine with her. She could feel them.
Wow.
She could feel them. But it was but then when he settled immediately after she had vocalized, I thought, there is something in this. And then patient outcomes for what I was seeing, you know, because with diagnostics, we're regularly scanning them to see how the treatment is going. So it's not just a point of diagnosis, it's throughout the treatment as well. And when given, you know, when patients were saying, I just want to see my daughter marry, or I've been told I've got 6 months, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's something in this. The chemicals that we were injecting in, the dyes, I started attending talks and hearing some bad stuff about that. Right. And then being told to inject it, and thought, okay. Then my brother, after my mother died, my brother got cancer. Wow. And by this point, I was looking at I was following the truth about cancer. So seeing that there were all sorts of different things that were being shut down. Like pharmaceutical companies.
Cure it.
Yeah, did not even cure it. Well, cure it in a way, but like people who were told they were terminal, living full lives. And I'm thinking, again, I'm like, that does not add up.
Yeah.
If it is as clear cut, then why is this happening? So yeah, then I went on this whole, I retrained because I was always interested in counselling anyway. I hated my job. I hated the technical part of it. So much of it was toxic. So I thought, right, I need to come out of it. And my kids had immune issues when they were born. So again, conventional was not helping them at all.
Yeah.
At all. In fact, it was making them worse. So then my hand was forced. I wouldn't say like, oh, I jumped willingly. You know, I'm one of those that was hardline conventional and then went, oh, maybe there is another way. And actually, do you know what? I'm so desperate now. Yeah. I'm going to start trying it all.
Yeah.
So I went down various routes: cranial osteopathy, homeopathy, Ayurvedic, and then led me to belief coding, which then led me here to the quantum. And I just feel like I have springboarded and it's like, yes, I'm now surrounded by people who speak my language. Yes, I'm in the zone now. And now I work with people and we work in harmony with cancer. We speak to the tumors. We ask, what are you holding? What do I need to release? What needs to go? And for the majority, and whether I don't not enough of us perhaps are working this way yet, or I haven't found the research. So if anyone is watching this and knows of research, please let us know. But what I'm finding is that I'm very aware of medical scripting. So when you're told you have this and therefore you are going to feel this, or I'm going to give you this medication and it will make you feel this. And so people
like
who,
subconscious.
yeah, so literally it's like you're buying into it, and not consciously. I'm not saying people are aware of things.
Yeah.
But so what I've been doing with the people I've been working with is, please don't buy into that. I know exactly, because I know it so well. I tell my clients, this is what you are going to be told now.
Wow.
And it's up to you whether to choose to buy into that or not.
Wow.
So my clients are choosing what to buy into. The medics are struggling with it because they then try and pull everything out of the bag to create the fear. Okay?
But it's mind-blowing to me, because I believe that when you're a child and you think, oh, I want to be a doctor, it's because you want to help people. So when they're doing their training, they're obviously not being, well, I assume they're not being taught, you've got to say it this way because you want to scare them, because you want to sell them the drugs, because we need to keep the drugs companies going.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's with the purest intention from them. 100% pure heart-led intention.
Yeah.
I am not saying otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they are not receiving a full enough education or training, so that there's this very narrow viewpoint. It's a bit like saying there is only this way and no other way.
Yeah. And I have a friend who is she's a consultant at Children's A&E. So she's like really senior, really amazing doctor. And she is really not very supportive about what I do at all. Whereas I'm always like, you still always need medication. Like, you still always like that you can't, I'm not going to advise you anything different. I try to be really careful with that. But she's almost like, she almost ridicules it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I've had that all my life with my kids, like all my life, since all my mothering life. And we, you know, even the hairdresser said it. She said, oh, I bet you get the, oh, you're one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And the dismissive looks, the rudeness.
Yeah.
And my osteopath has always said, why do you even try anymore to make them meet? And I said, because I believe it's part of my purpose for the meeting of both, the honouring of both, the respecting of both. I spoke about it at Carfest last year when there were medics in the kind of spiritual area. What? And I said, at no point are you recommending all of what's here, and I want to know why. And again, it was, well, there's no evidence that any one works, any one treatment. And I said, but there isn't the same with medication, and yet you will still offer that out for patients to try.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it's a lack. It is fear, because they're and the dismissal is around, oh, it's for the birds, it's airy fairy, it doesn't work, like it's totally ridiculous. All of that dismissiveness, and then they bring in the statistics of, well, because the cancer treatments often don't stop at just the cancer, they'll go preventative then as well. So you'll have preventative chemotherapy and you'll have preventative radiotherapy, whereby if you have a breast tumor removed with clear margins, so clear margin means you've not just removed the tumor, but they take a certain amount around it away of healthy to ensure that they have everything.
Yeah.
So they found that. They've done their samples, they found that. They will still deliver radiotherapy to the area for prevention. They are delivering doses of radiation to the body for prevention. Wow. So they believe that, and they believe even about the chemicals being pumped in as well. That's their belief. I don't share that belief anymore. I used to. I don't anymore, because I've seen something else working. Yeah. I've seen that when I work with clients and we start to speak to their body and we start to find out. Now, talking to the tumor isn't the first step. There's kind of layers of protection and stuff that are around that that we go to first. And then we start
Do you know
lifting.
I just had a drop, so I'm just going to throw it out there. But do you know what's really interesting? The way that you said about how the doctors are priming us subconsciously, without us knowing, when they're saying, oh, if you take this tablet, it's going to, or if you've got 6 months to live and you die after 6 months. Isn't it the same when you break a bone and you've got a cast on and they're like, it's going to be better in 6 weeks? Nothing's happening. Your body is doing all the work. They're not doing anything. So
Yeah.
same thing.
But again, and again, you can script. There's all sorts of things that they can script. So I'm talking about cancer, but I've also worked with patients who've had some surgical interventions and to do with bones, and been dropped a script, a seed of this might fully repair, or this might lead to this. And so they've gone and taken that seed and they're nurturing it. So I go to that seed and go, is that one you want to be planting? What could we plant instead?
Wow.
Should we try that one?
Wow.
And I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
I can't. And so that's what has fear in me. Like, oh my God, I'm going to go on and talk about this. And what if anyone hears me and, you know, I get it wrong? And I think that's the fear with them. Medical legal has led to exacerbation of that as well, of getting it wrong. And what if someone dies? What if I get this wrong and someone dies? Yeah. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything, but what I am here. So with my son, we couldn't get any methods that would work, and he became bedridden at the age of 10 for 9 months, unable to walk unaided. This is a child who runs endlessly. We called him our Duracell bunny, trampolining, you name it. You just could never seem to wear him out.
Yeah.
So unexplained, no one could figure it out. Well, they managed in belief coding and with quantum and inner growth with Angela. So he's absolutely fine now.
Wow.
Now, he was under a chronic pain team. We did have a wonderful physio. What I believe she offered was kindness, compassion, and acceptance. The psychologist, the child psychologist, said that I was doing harm in what I was doing with belief coding and energy work. Having not researched it, just threw the comment out. So I passed that comment back and said, I don't wish to hold that. That's a personal opinion, and we're here to see you in a professional capacity. So no, thank you.
Yeah.
So setting that boundary.
Well done.
And yeah, but you get this a lot with the medical, because very rigid kind of formatting of what they believe is okay and what is helpful. And she had turned around and said, I don't need to be your friend, you just need to do what I say.
Ooh.
To my 10-year-old son.
No.
So I'm wondering what training they've had that would ever in this lifetime on this planet would ever help with the well-being of a young person who is in pain and doesn't understand why their life has been turned upside down.
Wow.
So that person has very high qualifications.
Obviously from like the prehistoric years though, like when we were told
do you see the difference? Would be very highly regarded.
Yeah.
My child is going to see a child clinical psychologist, you know. I can't, for the first time in my life, I think I lodged 3 complaints against 3 consultants that we came across.
Wow.
One traumatized him so badly that actually, we had to do as a couple. So this is what I found as well, that when you work energetically with a parent, you lift. So I had some work done, and literally my son started to walk.
Wow.
So I had a session, not an energetic one either. Let's be clear, like energy can shift with other things other than the quantum.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing compassionate inquiry. So it's mind and body connection. So I was having a session with that. Myself and my therapist cried at the end of it, because we felt the power of it and felt that it was going to somehow help my son. The next morning he is screaming, and we thought in pain.
Yeah.
and he's walking around his room going, the pain in my arms and legs is gone. I can walk. So, you know, the power of how we are energetically linked.
Yeah.
Medics would never have said, why don't you go off and have some counselling or have some somatic work done yourself?
No.
So this is why, you know, it would be really helpful if we all did come on board, so that we could signpost to one another, because there is no one size fits all. But what I'm here because I felt powerless, helpless, oh, just so sad, upset, didn't know where to turn, unbearable watching my child suffer with no answers.
Yeah.
Frustrating, I was angry. And so what I want to do is spread the word of, whether it's through nutrition, Chinese medicine, whatever, can we start to work in harmony with our bodies and stop chopping them up into body parts, which is what, again, the consultants do. Oh, I'm your neurologist. So my son was under 4 consultants at one point, and none of them speaking to each other.
Oh my gosh.
So you've divided the body.
Yeah.
And then in the end just turned around and said, it's all in your mind. As if that's somehow dismissive or not real. And that's what he got with school, etc. as well. So it's I suppose our work, I would like to think, is about befriending every part of you, even the part of you that hates yourself. So it's about guiding the client to, you know, that part of you that you really don't like and you keep shutting the door on. She needs you to open the door and to hear her and to give her a big cuddle and tell her that you're going to stop judging her and that she was allowed to make even the most dreadful mistake.
Yeah.
That's allowed. Because one of the big things about the clients I'm seeing with cancer is they're not brilliant at asking for help.
Yeah.
Number one, very strong people, used to being the one almost that supports everyone else, or just has learned to get on with things in life. So these are really strong elements that I'm seeing with my cancer clients, that it may be to do with my own traits. Yeah, because we always attract.
Yeah.
So maybe if people can let us know if they're working with clients with any kind of physical issues, is that what they're noticing as well? Or are they noticing something else, more reflection of their traits?
Yeah.
But for me, when you have cancer, you have to ask for help.
Yeah.
You have to receive it.
Yeah.
And quite often you are really needing not just the medical help, but you might be needing to be cared for.
Yeah.
So it's all turning around. So it's almost like it comes with a message. And that's what I ask my clients when I work with them. If you were to imagine it came with a message or a learning or a lesson, what would it be? And it's always been that. Yeah. That's number one.
And that's that they spend all their time looking after everybody else, but it's their turn to be looked after.
Yeah. So the cancer has made them stop.
Yeah.
Now you need to ask. Now you need to receive.
Yeah.
For me, I'm attracting a lot of clients with grief trapped, coming in all sorts of different shapes or forms. That's a huge part of what my son had trapped in his body as well.
Wow. Was he holding that for you?
No, he had his own. Yes, I could remove when I did my bit. So we're always clearing because we're all one. Yeah. So I know that when my clients come to see me now, I always look at what's that client brought. That's going on in me. Yeah. Sometimes it's really obvious. Sometimes it's a real like, oh, I had no idea. Yeah. Because we look at them and go, oh, isn't it awful they have that issue? So I actually wake up. Yeah. That's what's happening for you. So yeah, this work is really, really exciting for me. A little bit terrifying when it comes to the physical stuff. But the people that I have worked with, the teams working with them have gone, you are a different person to who we saw. So I'm working with their mindset, and that comes from perspective. So again, when we down tools of needing to fight your body and work work with it, that creates a total, like, it's they sleep better.
Yeah.
We lift fear, anxiety, stress. It's really incredible, all that's intertwined. And when you come in with a new perspective, a fresher perspective, and say, well, what if we tried this? And then one of my clients, I'm not an advocate of refusing treatments or saying, oh no, you can't do that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't go for radiotherapy, chemotherapy. The thing is about choice and empowerment, and about knowing that there are other options available with success.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of media coverage happens around when people don't have the success.
Yeah.
So it escalates the fear.
Yeah. And
doctors do fear. What if my patient goes off and does this, doesn't have the treatment, and then they die? Yeah. You know, that's, so for me, my clients have said to their medics, I write my own script. So, which fills me with great joy, because their script has involved some treatments, but it's also involved new things for them, you know, grounding techniques. Yeah. Looking for signs, connecting spiritually. So suddenly the dark world brightens. Yeah. And then there's light at the end of the tunnel. Do you find, like, I suppose with the work that you're doing, it's almost as if they have to accept the cancer? And do you find that there's like quite a lot of resistance in accepting it? Because if you're accepting, you're kind of being like, I don't know, you're quite vulnerable, aren't you, for it to spread or get bigger or get worse? Yeah, and you're going against the grain with that thinking and that mindset, because everyone is saying to you, it's a battle, you need to get rid of it, I need it out. But for me, you might cut it out, but the cause of it, like, is that why recurrence happens? Yeah. You know, we've been led to understand that it's genes and it's genetic, and when they go through family history, yes, because they probably ate all the same stuff and they all probably thought the same way, and or it's been energetically passed down as well because they haven't dealt with it. Yeah. So then the next person's got to deal with it, and the next person's got to deal with it. All that lovely trauma. Yeah. So yeah, but then, do you know what? This isn't new. This stuff is being spoken around and around, but I'm kind of like, well, where's it been? Why haven't I been hearing it? Yeah. So yeah, that's why because when you do come into this kind of like world where we are now, from the world that we were before with like all the medical, now we're stepping out. When you do come into this world, you do realize that there is a lot of research on it. There's loads of research on it. There's loads of books. And why is it so suppressed? Like, this is the thing that people in countries where they don't have, like, they're not as advanced, they're still using plant medicine. Like, people like what's called indigenous tribes in like the Amazon, they just use plants. Like, I don't know, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's just come into my head as you were saying that, because one thing, we feel like we've evolved. Conventional medicine is our evolution. So we turned our backs and shunned something similar today. The amazing natural medicine. Yeah. That aside, I also want people to know that when they connect people with themselves and their own power, that they are actually reconnecting them with their power, that it does lie within. Because my mum was told she was going to die 9 months before she died. I was flown back. I was warned that she was very swollen, her body was kind of out of control, and that there was nothing they could do. And so I got in late at night. I was going in the following morning to see her, and she was being discharged. All the excess fluid had drained from her body. The medics were scratching their heads going, she's Lazarus, like, we've no comprehension, we've not given her anything, no idea what's just happened. When my mum was leaving, she said, oh, I thought I was going to be leaving here in a box, going to the mortuary. I didn't really think I'd be walking out of here. This is like a bit, I feel a bit surreal, like it feels a bit strange. And I was like, well, what happened? And she said, I asked. So a bit like, if any of you are familiar with the Bible, I was brought up Christian Catholic, but I don't enforce that belief. I'm now open to a lot more since this spiritual awakening for me. But in the Bible, it states that the night before Jesus died, he asked for this cup to pass. I asked if it was possible for this cup to pass me. And Mum said, I just said that. I just said, if this cup can pass, could it please pass? And she said, next thing I know, and she did have very strong faith, not a churchgoer necessarily regular, but a deep, deep faith in guardian angels, beings, spirits, angels, God, Jesus, Mary, all of that. Very much felt into their energy, and just asked. So that is what if you take nothing else away from today, please know that you can ask, and please ask, because if you don't ask, they won't step in. You have to ask. I didn't know that. And again, that's ask and you shall receive in the Bible, but it really is true. And the power of intention, that has blown my mind to pieces, where I have energetically set an intention of something. Might even be as simple as something like, oh, I think I'll get in touch with Linda today, and next thing you text me. Right? How many of us has that happened to? And you go, I was just thinking about you. So feed into that power of your mind. Command what you want, but also be prepared to listen, because our mind has disconnected due to our traumas. So what our mind cleverly does is, oh, you're about to feel really sad or lonely or whatever, I'm going to lift you out, I'm going to minimize it, I'm going to tell you, oh, that's not really a big deal, or I'm going to get you to avoid that situation so that you don't feel it. And this is what my understanding of why so many illnesses happen, is that the body is screaming, please mind, listen to me, I have all of this going on. And the mind's going, don't want to feel it, really awful, ignore, and then in whatever it is, ME, MS, fibromyalgia, cancer, Parkinson's, whatever, you name it. For me, they're all manifestations where we have disconnected. So if we reconnect, we can talk and figure out. I'm not saying we can always save ourselves, because we have to surrender, but there is great power in the mind and body connection. I don't know if you found that, Linda.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this is like all the stuff that I am really, like, I devour this kind of stuff. Like, I love Joe Dispenza, I love Gabor Mate, I love Deepak Chopra, and there's another guy who's been on the scene for ages and he's only new to me, so I can't remember his name, but he's got like almost like a mullet, and even with the like really famous manifestors, it's all about quietening your like conscious mind and letting your subconscious mind take over. And the body is really clever, but it's also a bit of a bitch, because your brain is so powerful, because it gets your heart's beating without you asking it to do, the blood's pumping through your body without you asking it to. But also it is the thing that's tricking you all the time. It's tricking you. It's trying to keep you safe, but it doesn't understand what being safe truly is for us. And sometimes we don't want to be safe. Sometimes we want to step out of being safe, or whatever safe is according to the brain, and we have to be constantly in a battle with our brain to say, is that like, or she's really good at this with me, if I'm saying something, she's like, is that the truth, or is that just what you think the truth is? And it's like, wow.
So again, I'm gonna, if I can I bring some things I've heard just in that snippet?
Please do. So, I love it.
The body's a bitch. Just wondering if that's really what you want to think, if that's how you want to address her. and this comes from love, and this comes from Emma going, Niamh, your words, you know, because words are spells. That's why they're called spellings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just be careful about that. And then also you said the mind, we're in a constant battle. So that's a belief. Let's not be in a constant battle with our mind. I hear you though about and I always use this analogy of say you want your computer to do something, and it's a set program. It's, you know, this is what you've programmed in, this is what I want this computer to do. Oh, but now I want it to do this. But the computer is like, that phrase, computer says no. Computer is saying no. You're like, well, why the hell not? And then, you know, when you go to replace a file or update it or whatever, and it says, are you sure you want to do this? And you have to click the yes, I'm sure. For me, that's exactly the same as the subconscious. So from past experiences, it's collated all the data and it's put it in, and it's like, right, for you, this is what safe looks and feels like.
Yeah.
As we grow, our conscious mind grows. Our subconscious doesn't, because we haven't put the program in. We have to go and speak to it to go, hey, love, you know that whole thing of like, you can't go near dogs because they'll kill you. Yeah. Actually, even though you've had a million experiences where the dog has just come up and licked you and given you nothing but love, because there was that belief, it's not replaced. Whereas when you go into the subconscious and say, I know you're terrified, I get it, I acknowledge you, yeah, do you know what, it's okay actually. Yeah. And then you replace that file and then you can proceed. So that's what a lot of our work is around doing, healing the root cause that caused the data programming.
Yeah. And also when you're saying about when you're pressing the button to say, do you want to do this upgrade, and the previous one was really safe, when you get the upgrade, it's almost like, oh, the button that was there is now there.
Yeah, it's new and it may be challenging and might take a while to get used to.
Yeah. It might be uncomfortable for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just for me with this work, it's been amazing to watch the benefits for clients, and for myself, always for myself as well.
Yeah.
And to know that there are other ways, other options for our health and well-being, and to try and create harmony rather than battle, because we are all carrying war trauma. So the word fighting and battle has been something I've had to work with. And I constantly will try and help my clients to remove that language. And just before I go, I want to share that a really close friend of mine had messaged me when I was on the October what was it, retreat, the training for the quantum with the girls in Oxford.
Yeah.
And the evening that we were having the meal, I got a text from a really close friend saying she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. So 10 years prior to that, I would have, maybe even 5 years, no, it would have been 10. I would have gone like, oh my God, that's dreadful. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, like, that's just really dreadful. Whereas the response she got was, I'm really sorry that that's part of your journey, but know that I believe I can help. And for this evening, because I'm in a training, know that I'm sending you love and light, and I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
So,
and how was that
when I got into sorry?
How was that received by her? Because does she want people to be like, oh my God?
She didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't. She was grateful for that. She did. Yeah, she did say, thanks. I really wanted you to know. And I do feel you can help. And I was staying with Orshi for that evening, and we were doing our vision boards at the table, and I put her healing on it. I don't know if I still have it. And the light above me, you know this thing with me with electricity.
Yeah.
In the restaurant started to flash. The bulb. Wow. I took a video of it, and for her. So I took a picture of her, wanting her full health and recovery, and the light flashing, and just sent energy to it. The next morning she texted me to say, I have slept the best I have slept in weeks. I don't know what you've done, but I feel incredible. And I've gone to my workout class, and the person running the class said, what's happened? Like, you're totally different. You were on a total downer, really low, really fearful, and now you've got this spring in your step, like you've just been told, actually, we misdiagnosed you. She said, can I ask what's happened? And she said, I don't actually know, other than I contacted this person who we grew up together, so we're very closely connected.
Yeah.
And she said, I think she's done something.
Wow.
So that was just by sending love.
Yeah.
And
It's
setting the
just
intention.
Yeah.
The intention this person is asking for to receive healing.
Yeah.
And that person has recovered speedily.
I love that.
There's someone who has written their own script.
Yeah.
So they've taken what they wanted, not taken what they wanted. There was a good scattering of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were ready for it because we had gone through the medical scripting, so they knew what was coming.
Wow.
And the medics just can't believe how well this person has recovered.
Yeah.
So
isn't it interesting though, like when the medics find out the extra things that she's been doing in order to recover, you think they'd be like, what is that? We need to know what it is. We want to do it. Let's do it. But they're just like, oh wow, it's amazing. Well done. Bye.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
So interesting, isn't it? I'm just like, oh, what is?
Yeah.
So
but I want, you just wonder that at some point these people, it'll happen to someone close to them.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what it takes.
Yeah.
And I read something the other day that the royal family are all homeopathic mad.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Send me that article.
So I don't even know now where I read it, but I was like, oh my goodness. Because so many times I heard that was just pure witchcraft.
Well, yeah, they are supposed to be witches, aren't they?
Great.
Like,
bring it on. Yeah. Like, bring on that wisdom.
I've got my witch book here. Oh, you'd like this book. I'm going to send you it.
I've got moon magic and spells.
Love it. Spells.
Yeah. Listen, thank you so much for
I just wanted to say quickly, have you got a few more minutes?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I just don't want to take up so much of your time.
No, it's fine. Because we're just like going off on one about witches and things like that, but that's just because that's what we like. But you don't have to be like this. Is not a witchy type thing. But I wanted people to hear a bit more about your story, about when you first started quantum flame healing, because you didn't have the easiest journey, even though you're like this massive guru master now, and you're like working with people with cancer. You've got some amazing results, but it wasn't that easy at the beginning, was it?
No, and I still don't see a lot in the quantum. I might get flashes, but I don't have what I call the magical unicorn experience that other people speak of.
Yeah.
I'm on my own little journey alongside, but and that made me dismiss the power of what I could bring, or what I could channel, or what I could connect people with. And it wasn't until I did some work on my own family, and my brother was like, how could you tell me exactly what was happening in my body? So I get felt sense in my body.
Wow.
But I wasn't trusting that.
Yeah.
So what happens for me a huge amount of the time is my conscious mind will be removed, and my subconscious. So I often won't hear when Emma and Najwa, or when you're holding space. I might not hear or see anything. Well, I will be, but not that my conscious mind is aware of. But I will have jolts in my body. I will have all sorts of things going on. But I didn't trust that.
Yeah.
So I went through the first lot of training, and also I wasn't into anything spiritual.
Yeah.
In fact,
belief coding is also like, they lean quite a lot on the evidence, don't they? Like it's like and scientifically backed.
And the meeting of the conscious and the subconscious. So there's a lot more of that kind of going on, head work.
Yeah.
rather than kind of more into the body. But yeah, I wasn't spiritual at all, and in fact would have had resistance around it. Not into any kind of energy work, not into crystals, not into cards, not into, I'm looking around now, everything that's here, not into literally anything that you would have associated with spirituality or quantum or anything now. But Najwa was my trainer in belief coding, and the stuff that she was doing in that, and I just trusted. I was like, yeah, I want a piece of that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel she's powerful. I want some of that.
Yeah.
And when I became attuned, my counseling clients were popping, and belief coding clients were popping off to the quantum.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, maybe I can channel this stuff, because they're getting great results and great experiences.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't have to see. Maybe that's part of the surrendering. That is that my ego that I have to see, I have to guide. Actually, you don't. You are just asking on behalf of, and you are opening yourself up to receive, to channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to go round too. And also just the processing of it all was a bit difficult for me, like to get my head around a lot of the stuff that they were saying. So yeah, round two, I was a bit more like, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. And then they asked me to be a mentor. I thought, have they had some kind of episode? Like, have they not realized?
You're incredible, and you like. I feel like it's insane listening to you speak like this now, because you are absolutely you're absolutely amazing.
And
you're so intuitive.
Because self-doubt does come in, and it's like, I'm not seeing the magical things. My light language, like you were saying, it still hasn't come through. And there's all sorts of things that I'm like, oh no, but again, it's comparing.
Yeah.
Comparing. Whereas actually I attract the clients that are right for me.
Yeah.
They're getting the results that they need to get. And so I always say this at all the mentor sessions that I have. It's a plea to all people training in quantum or considering it, to please do. Or for people who are in need of it, please do. Because I was desperately searching for you when my son needed your help, and I couldn't find you.
Wow.
So please get out there, get seen, spread the word that there is light. Let us shine the light. There is light, because so many people are in darkness, and it feels shitty when you are in the darkness. So for me, it's really important that we get out there, and not to overpower any other methods. Let's all bring the light.
Yeah, exactly.
However it works for you, or however it gets delivered, but guiding.
Yeah, I feel like it's complementary, isn't it? Even if all of the medicine was all wrong, at least if you're doing this as well, you're balancing it.
Yeah. And actually, from my perspective, you won't need the medicine.
Yeah.
Because actually, the medicine is often trying to deal with the symptom.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're trying to clean out that wound so that the natural healing can happen. Not trying to put a cream on the top or a plaster on the top. We're literally getting right in there. Let's clean this out now so that the natural healing can happen.
Yeah.
But there is, I'm not saying that all hospitals need to shut and everything needs to go. As you say, there is a space and a need for everything.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think sometimes people are so far, like whatever it is that's, so say, for example, the people who have historical cancer throughout the generations, they might need the medication to begin with to start helping cure it before they do the inner work, because they might need to feel better first to be able to do the inner work. Like with depression, if you've got depression, you should, like, if you need to take your tablets to feel better, so then you can do the work. And some of the work is really hard. Like some of the work is sticky, and you might need them as an aid to get you through. And then when you've resolved the core, then is when you can bring it all off.
But Steph and I were speaking about this yesterday, because there's a lot of research, and a lot of research that doesn't get published.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lipton talks about it in the Biology of Belief. And there is a lot of placebo that works perfectly well. So why is that? Why is that? Why can a placebo work for depression?
Yeah.
Because there's the belief.
Yeah.
I take this, I get better.
Yeah.
What if it was, I don't have to take this to get better? What if it was when I swim, when I walk in nature, I get better? Yeah. But because that's like, oh no, that doesn't work.
Also,
it's dismissed.
I think, and this is something I feel really passionate about because of what happened to me, but I think that when we now, modern day living, we're so busy, go, go, go all the time. We don't take the time to go out into nature, to have a walk, to put your feet in the sea, to even walk outside barefoot in your garden. Like we're go, 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 busy, busy, bee, pop a pill, carry on. It's like, it's keeping the society moving.
Yeah, exactly that. The quick fix, isn't it? But actually, if we did these things consistently, then actually it would have a far greater impact. But I'm guilty. Like I was one of those who, and still slip back into the, I'm too busy to meditate today.
Yeah.
That's the day you absolutely need to meditate, Niamh. You know?
Yeah.
So, but so I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it excites me to evolve, to try these things, to I just feel really hopeful. I'm just full of light, is what I feel like. So yeah, and I'm so grateful. There have been comments, and I'm so, because I'm on my phone, it's really difficult to see them all. But I just wanted to thank everyone for being on, for listening. I'm always, God, I just don't shut up.
No, it's brilliant. You've got so much value to say, and I just want to like keep talking to you, but obviously I can't talk all day. But Samantha's just said, I didn't want to take tablets in the past. I did for a little, then stopped because I knew there was another way. Yeah, and I really want to put out there as well, especially with depression, that it's everybody's individual journey, and everybody is at a different stage with it. Like depression is really close to my heart, so I really, like, I know people that have taken their lives, and I just think that it's your own journey, and if you need the tablets, fucking take them. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
No one could,
if it's a lifeline for you, and it keeps you here, then take it. But I suppose what we're trying to say is that, you know, a lot of people will say, I'm taking this long term, or I don't know how to be without it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not doing any other work, that's totally different. But if you're taking it just for today, like there's that Reiki saying, isn't there? Like, just for today, I'm going to be kind, just for today, blah, blah, blah. But you just look at it for the day and then do the work, get to the root cause, because it will enrich your life so much, and it will stop. We're the cycle breakers, aren't we? So we're stopping it being passed on to our next generation, basically.
Yeah, it's huge work that we're all doing, that our children have come to guide us. And thankfully we are listening. So yeah, always amazing to speak with you, Linda, always, and to be in this space where there is such encouragement, non-judgment, but also everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And as you rightly said, you know, if you are taking medication, there's no judgment here around that. I suppose what we're trying to do is open the perspective of, can there be more for you? What is helpful? What could be helpful for your clients? What could be going on? What kind of language is useful and helpful? It's all about what can make today a little brighter, a little better for everyone. So and
I think the crux of it is that they're the reason that these, like, maybe we need maybe we need the medication, but the crux of it is that the reason that the body is in disease is because of something's happened, something's triggered it, something's being held, there's an emotion, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to release it and heal so that we can go to the next level.
Exactly that. And I was a child who watched a parent suffer and constantly was in threat of when are they going to die. I don't want that for my children.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see my children go through that. So that's what excites me, is that possibility.
Yeah.
Of something different.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Of not suffering.
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing.
Oh,
Thank you
listen,
so much
darling.
for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I'm going to message you after this as well and be like, I want to talk about this now.
Yeah, usually lots. Once everyone gets this, and everyone get talking, get sharing, what's happening with your clients, what's happening with you. Let's share this, because sometimes we can be quietly doing stuff and not realize all the amazing things that are happening for us and for the clients or people around us. So
that is
please
really,
get sharing.
Yeah, everybody gets sharing, and that's a really good message for Steph and I today, because we were saying like we're not visible, so give us a little kick up the butt.
All right. Take care, lovely. Take
nice
care,
to
everyone.
see you.
Bye.
Bye everyone.